Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day this is for you. I got a little bit of matching that. Hang over there. Welcome. Hi. Hola, bonjour. Comment se va? Hey, buenos noches, buenos días, buenos tardes. Hi, it's morning for me. Welcome. It's me, Wingish, ni Bay Majeki Quay. Your friendly, friggy ass, sweet grass water, medicine woman, Christiana Carr, Chris Carr, superstar. Oh, this beautiful divine being right here. Welcome, all you beautiful divine beings right here too. We got a short week. We had a short week last week. I missed Thursday. Missed our Monday, so we didn't get our miniature arcana going. So maybe, but we can still keep going on with our last week, right? That resources, because we're still, so maybe need a couple more weeks to tap into those resources that we have. We've accumulated what we've, finding our strength. Again, we've survived 100%, what we've gone through till now. Right? We got this other stuff going on in the world. Yes. For those who think. Now, I never said I'm much political, but really, what I've seen of government things is not bringing people together. They divide people. Government does not bring people together. For the most part, I hear people complain about governments and don't know what they're doing and stuff like that. And then we get into a situation like this, and it seems like now the government is infallible. Or we must do all that. But what I've seen, although the premise is it's for the people, it's not really designed for the people. It's for the profits, for the payoffs, for the power. So that's my 2 cents on that. So I focus within. I want to be in this world but not of this world. I'm not a money person. We don't need money to survive. Money does not make the world go round or keep the stars in the sky. Money hasn't even been around as long as people or anything like that, Before those money, it was those services. We exchanged those services. We were there for each other. We shared, so it wasn't about, we got to pay me or whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm not using this, you need this. We just exchange. That's what it was. Returning to those ways. There we go. Being able to stay inside, not being controlled. Where is the freedom? No person is more important than any other person. Not in the eyes of our Creator. But we put ourselves above or below others. Others tell us we're below or above them, whatever that is. But we're all humans here. We're all having our own experience, but yet we're trying to... There's those that want to herd us into having all the same experience. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how, because some get their ideals and try to push that on others. Then we're not living in freedom. You're not living by your own free will. None of us really are. We're all, until we discover, see through past those cultural illusions of where we're being guided, because they do studies in marketing and how to pray to your brain, subliminal messages and all of that. You're at the movies and you're thirsty. There you got this great big pop in your hand and you're feeling this urge to go get another drink because they flashed a quick thing on the screen. But we don't know because things go faster, so it takes a lot. I'd highly recommend watching those brain games and stuff like that and actually learning about how your brain works, because they're human brains. Human brains pretty much work the same. We have some diversities in there. Men and women's brains wired. Then we have your neurotypical and neurodiverse brains. This is all in the way they process information. So not one's better than the other, but it's having that understanding. We don't all think the same. We don't all feel the same. We have all the same feelings, subject to all these own thoughts, but the way we react to them in our own bodies and our experiences and all those blends, right? Look at the baking. Look at how many different cakes you can make. Look at how you can start off with one basic ingredient. Look at scones, right? A few basic ingredients, but you can add those up and make those into so many other creations, but it's all started out with the same basic mix, right? Human beings, right? And then we add our own flavors in and create our own, we be our own kind of fancy scones or whatever. Or maybe we just like to eat a plain one. Just throw a little butter on me, I'm good. I don't know. It's just a flowing in. So what's that for you? You know, it's got to be swinging this. My girl's here with me now, so that really helps. I'm a one and only. I have no favorites. They're all my favorites. There is some that like to say, and hey, maybe that is a thing. And I have witnessed that myself. That some, when they have their youngest tends to be like the favorite. But I don't actually have favorites. I never have. There might have a favorite thing about them, but even that, I don't. They're all my favorites because they're all unique individuals, you know? They love apples and oranges. They're not, either one's my favorite. They're fruits, you know? I don't say that about my children. But I tell them all the time, I have no favorites. And, you know, and I hope that they would come to me and listen to me because nobody can explain what I feel for my children except for me. Right? And vice versa, you know? I don't try to explain to them why other people have done things. It's just because, well, I don't know, you need to talk to them about that. You know, all mom can do is guess and assume, but that doesn't mean that's what they're feeling. So I don't know. You have to ask them. That's inside them. So mom don't know what's inside them, and mom don't know what's inside you. You know, that's all I want my kids to think for themselves, to feel their own feelings. I've always wanted that. Never wanted to tell them when they were full. I want them to tell me what their body signals are. And maybe help them to figure that out for themselves. You know, ask them questions. Do you think it means that? Or what do you think it means? Or what do you feel about that? What do you feel your body's trying to tell you? You know? Are you feeling too tired? You know, and then we got to give them the names for that. That's our jobs as parents. Help teach them to regulate those emotions. And if we can't regulate our own emotions, how are we going to pass that on and show an example of regulating your own emotions to our kids? You know, but then there's also sometimes when we don't, if there's traumas, and those kids need to know. I mean, it should be part of every curriculum in schools, kids learning about healthy relationships, toxic relationships, power and control wheels. This should be essential teachings right from the start. The respect for their own bodies, the names, proper names of their own body parts, what consent means, and that even though they're a little kid, if they don't want to hug somebody or shake their hands, please don't ever make your child hug somebody that they don't want to. Even when my kids don't want to hug me, I will not force them to hug me if they've said no, they don't want to hug. Sometimes it's just their mood. Sometimes, hey, you know, there's times where I just don't want to be touched, and it's not anybody else's fault. It's because in my cycles, sometimes my own skin is irritating me. So I don't want anybody to think that's personal against them because it's all, I know this is all my insides. This is what's going on inside me right now. And I just, you know, we all honor that in ourselves. And if we have those people that respect that and allow us and honor that in us as well and allow those spaces, or, you know, not take it personally because right now I don't want to be touched. It's not, I don't want to be touched by you. I don't want to be touched by anybody. I don't even want to touch myself. I don't even want to be in my own skin right now. Okay, so let's watch for that too. You know, where we try to push ourselves on somebody else in some way, our beliefs, our bodies, anything. And our children need to know that they have a right to say no. They have a right to say, I don't want to hug that person. And not be made to feel guilty for that. Or like there's, what, you're not going to hug your uncle? Like, oh, and then made to feel guilty because then they're coercive. And then what are we setting them up for? That they don't stay in their no? That their no means, here, change my mind? Because then that's not true consent. If somebody has told you no, and you persuade them or seduce them or whatever, then that's not okay. It's not okay. And a lot of people won't stand up after you've persuaded them in there and say that because they're afraid. We don't stand up. Victims are mistaken, not believed. You know, I'm pretty sure it's 95% of allegations or claims or whatever are true. So only like 5%. There's such a small percentage that there's false allegations, but it's tainted the whole system. And why? Because there's probably people already out there in power that have slipped by that have already done these things. So they got to change those rules. It's out there to protect the perpetrator. So why does the you know, accused or whatever is innocent until proven guilty. But yet the accuser, the onus of, right, bearing the proof or whatever that is, I don't know. I think in these cases, the onus should be on those proving that they didn't do that, proving that they respected that consent, that they didn't do something to change their mind, and not blame it. There's too many going around hurting people and then claiming to be the victims themselves. And then they keep talking so that people don't see that really that person that's claiming to be the victim, they're fully supported. They've left somebody all on their own there. So who's the victim? The one that's supported, or the ones that's been dumped on and left for dead, basically? The one that's been stripped of everything. Dignity, self-esteem, self-worth. Who's the victim? You know, that's a hard one for me. I am a victim. It's still happening. But I don't want my children to see that. But that's not a bad thing when we say, oh, it's a bad thing to be the victim. So you'd rather be the abuser than the victim. Somewhat. We get in those sick, twisted thinkings that way. Because we think that's the way to get our power back. And then what do? We all end up fighting. Oh my goodness. Maybe that's why all this stuff is coming up in the world. Right? Make highlights to these things. You want to isolate people? It's isolation that creates the most devastation. We need to educate ourselves. Not just go because the government said this, because this person said that, because this. Know it in ourselves. Run those true signals. We all have that connection to that divine to know. What is my part in this? It's not my job to go out and point out everybody else how they're not doing it, because then what am I doing to myself? I'm adding more stress and anxiety to myself the more I'm concerned about everybody else not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So if I look at me and I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, as Creator tells me, not as man's trying to get me to do, because this is all about that power and control. I trust no man, really. That falls for this society thing and wants everybody to fall in line and think there's only one way. I trust nobody who thinks there's only one way. There's many ways, many different paths to that same destination. As many ways as there are people and human beings, because we're all on our own experience. So we're all on our own paths. So there's billions of paths. How many people's in the world? That's how many paths there are to the one destination. Is it the so it's not about that destination anyway. It's a journey. We're here to have this journey. Yeah, we get here and we want to escape the journey. We're like, whoa, what did I sign up for? Take me back now, please. But let's remember, we came here to have this journey. We came here to experience being human and all these emotions and what this earth walk is like, to expand on that ultimate consciousness of all, of what Creator can be in so many ways as Creator can express itself. Right? You and me. Each a way of Creator expressing itself, each a fingerprint of this, animated by that spirit, made from this earth. We are material, we are spiritual, and we are individual. Individual. Begin within. Bring all of your parts of yourself together. How have you separated yourself out there? Because there was a need to, maybe, right? There is. And this society promotes that mask, right? Have to do this, have to do that. Can't show emotions here. Don't show emotions there. Better show emotions here, though. It's so confusing. But if we keep following other human beings, it's because we're not following that source and tapping in to find out, what is it that I've been sent here to do? What's that change that I can be in this world? How can I bring in some more love and light in this world and not add into the fears and the worries that keeps us in this cycle spiraling downwards? Fear and worry keep us cycling downwards, because it's that fear and worry in that rocking chair stuff we can't do nothing about. It's not that healthy fear that says, no, don't jump off the sea of power. Whatever that is for you. And we're only responsible for that in our own lives, because we can only do something about that in our own lives. We can't make other people listen and follow rules and all that. And who's made those rules? Who says those rules are the best for everybody? Because most of the rules that I've seen out there in this world that I've experienced in this system, they only support a few. They're not there for the all. And it's not making it fair for all. You know? It's not fair at all. It's not justice. How is it justice when you have to pay for your justice? And if you can't afford, then you can't get justice. So how is that fair for all? And even if, oh, well, there's legal aid services and stuff like that. Well, no, they don't give you full coverage of that, so you're limited. You get limited, right? And I just heard there's no pro bono work when it comes to family courts and stuff like that. So if there is somebody that wants to help, well, no, that's illegal. You can't help somebody for free. That's illegal. Like, it's just, this is what we need to look at instead of like following this all blindly. We need to look at, is this a diversion from these other things? Let's keep them focused on this. So they're not seeing all of this. And, well, hasn't that happened since the beginning? Look at our, oh, those great United States of America, how they all come together. Oh, it is so great. Let's just wipe out what was there before, put our own stuff over top of it, and hope that they forget it, you know? Let's gaslight them to say that that never was. So let's look at that, and then what do we fall for? And yet we're still going through that. It was set up for who? The people that wanted to take over. It didn't honor what was already there. It didn't respect and show gratitude for what was already there. And yet we still want to follow those systems? Still promote genocides and stuff in different ways, you know, so they're going to change the language about it, but they're still doing the same thing. They're not for the people. They're not for bringing us together. They're for dividing us, because that's the way they keep their whatever's going. It's not about the people. It's about the power. Prove me wrong. Let me see that. You know, these systems got to change. Learn about this politics. I'm like, I'll run for office. Yeah, right. I don't even know what I'm doing. Well, nobody knows what they're doing. Really, and how could they? If even the ones in power, those prime ministers, I've heard, they don't, there's even some things that they can't look at. They're just a front man. They're for PR. They put a face on it, so everybody's got somebody to blame. It's their fault, but really, they're being controlled over here, right? Every man, you go in, there's somebody above them, somebody above them, somebody above them. But yet we're not letting the one above us all be the force that guides us and actually brings us together instead of driving the divide even more. Divide and conquer, right? They want to ruin the world. It's like Pinky and the Brain there, huh? Hey, Brain. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Oh, I think so, Brain. I know. There's a little raveling going on here for that. We're going to see through those cultural illusions. Let's look. I want to look at this archetype. Let's just see that. Let's look at that this Wednesday. Archetype to look at in ourselves. From the new deck, right? This is the new deck from Kim Kranz, The Wild Unknown. I have the Wild Unknown Tarot up there too. And the animals. Oh yeah, I did that. Oh yeah. Weirdo. So we're going to take an archetype and look at it in your own life, because we all go through these. It was Carl Jung came up with these archetypes to first, well, to label them anyway, to notice, because we all go through this. Just because there's a label or a diagnosis or now it's got a title doesn't mean, oh, it just started happening then. You know, it's out there in that collective. You know, it's out there for all of us to tap into. We need to open up to that. Free will beings individual. We're free will beings individual. But, see, because we're all on this earth, we're all going the same thing. We're all part of that same expression, right? All these fingers are part of the same body. All these hairs, everything. But they've all got their own jobs. They all don't look exactly the same. Right? Right, wouldn't that be funny to have eyeballs on the fingers? Basically, bodies are set up all the same. So if we look at that, we're all the same, but we're not. We're all different, but we're not. I'll go through these same things. How do we react and respond to them? Well, that depends on our programming as well, right? We all start off with the same basic ingredients. And then we have our different chefs and adding their flavors and whatever not, and what have yous. Ouch. Okay. The archetype. If I can just have a one popping out here, or maybe we'll have to split them in. Split them. I'm calling in from the east. Boop doop doop. Ow, I just want to do this. It's hard. It's a hurting. It's a hurting. Oh, and then. Ooh. Okay. Which one we gonna do? One gonna fall out for us. Just the one. Oh, just the one, just the one. What's the archetype we can look at? What's going on in our lives in this world right now? What's that archetype? That main archetype. Maybe collective archetype that we need to look at. Well, no, that was a pile. Get one. One. Just one. Oh, that flipped. Really, I seen that. Okay. You know what? We're gonna. Whoo! Just one, but I seen that before. The unseen. The unseen. Right, I'll put on this one. I can bring that closer. So the unseen here. Ow. Wow. Ow. Ow. I'm cramping, aching, hurting. Emotional stuff is like running marathons, right? Anybody else feel that way? Everybody else feel like that? Dude, the unseen. Ooh. So the collective archetype in the womb is under there. Oh my goodness. It's unseen in the womb. Right there. It come from the mama. What come from our mama's wombs. Oh. The unseen. Wow. 23. The unseen. What am I? What's the numbers? 10, 7. 27. It's 28. Oh. Shadow. We have this unseen. The unseen. Can you see the unseen description? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna read it to you anyways. Let's see. The unseen, the spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. Guidance comes in many forms. Don't expect it to be glittery or comfortable. The spirit world speaks the truth. Sometimes it soothes, sometimes it burns. But the truth burns if you don't want to believe it, right? Truth can set you free. But it hurts when we don't want to believe it. When we don't want to accept it. Think about that for yourself. Being graced by the unseen is a gift. Treat it kindly. Allow yourself to be seen by eternal eyes. Open up. God, see me. Creator, see me. All my relations help. They can't come in unless we ask. Free will beings we are. When light, clairvoyant, guidance, whispers of wisdom. When dark, looming energy, unwillingness to forgive. Go deeper. King Hamlet, the Three Fates, The Shining. So if you wanted to read more and you see about the unseen archetype, these are the stories you'll read about. King Hamlet. Is that Hamlet? Why, is this a dagger I see before me? I can't remember we did that. And The Shining, well, that was that a Stephen King novel in that movie with, oh my goodness, Jack Nicholson? Oh my goodness. Can't believe that, just Jack Nicholson. Oh my goodness. So, those unseen. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it. Yet it sees us, watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. We feel this presence, sense it, intuit it, and then doubt its existence. Don't we? Though it rallies our attention time and time again, the energy of the unseen may come in forms, become in many forms. A compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision or message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near. The eternal is present. The doorway between world is ajar. Open. Not ajar. It's open. I love that. How do you get ajar? The door is ajar. It's so confusing. Especially in some brains. Anyway. The doorway between worlds is open. Listen. The sounds may seem as though they come from a distant land, but they call from your innermost chambers. Ooh, that's a good one for the collective conscious, unconscious, and the archetype that we're all dealing with. That unseen, how do you connect to that? Do you feel that? How do you feel that in you? And then do you deny it? Do you feel it? Do you intuit it? And then deny it? And write it off. That was coincidences or synchronicities. No, that didn't see anything. That was just my eyes. You know, something flickered. That was, my eyes playing tricks on me. What is that for you? How do you relate to your spirit in the unseen world? Are you grateful? Because those things that happen for us when dreams come true and all those visions, a lot of stuff takes place behind the scenes that you don't see. When we watch a television program or a movie, we don't see everything that led up to that. We don't see the green screens in the movies unless we go watching a thing of the making of, right? So there's so much unseen to bring this into that reality. So let's focus on that. And what's unseen about what's driving this world? Like what drives us is that unconscious in us and that programming from our childhood. Well, what's that collective unconscious that we are not seeing, that we are all, wouldn't be being guided by, but being, herded by, or, herded, like in the herd of groups, but hurt. We're being hurted by it. It's being a hurting. It's hurting us. So how do we, what is that for you? Have a look at that in your life, and we're going to end her there. Yes, I got my girl here. I want to get back out with my girl. But that was a quick one. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got here. I popped up. But that's a great one. Unseen. Look within. Look within and tap into that. And we can feel that unseen. And it's good for us. So how do you feel about that unseen? Do you need to see it to believe it? Blessed are those who believe and have seen. But even more blessed are those who believe and haven't seen. Something like that? I don't know. So, we're going to look at that. Love yous. Oh, biggest heart hugs. Thank you for being you, shining your light through everything you do. This world needs you. To not be unseen. To get out and let your light be sheen. Sheen. Sheen, like you've sheen before, like you've never sheened before, whatever. We're swinging, and we're swinging, and we're swinging. See, before the unseen used to be my tears, and I let those be seen, right? Maybe those gifts that we had, right? What's deep down? What's that? What's that? The gestating in your womb, right? Even if you're a man, right? We have that, spiritual womb or whatever, that our ideas are growing and expanding and is helping us. What is that for you? What is growing in your creativity womb? I'm getting stuck on that word. Your little spot of creativity. What is that? Love yous. Thank you. A wonderful, blessed day.